Okay, so part two continues. Yes, so the idea here was for me to do a few Discord only streams, right? I want to get quite a few of these done in the next couple of weeks. I'm organizing several stuff, so the room's a bit of a mess. Yeah, I need to get some more stuff for the computer, and it's been giving me a fair bit of issues. So meanwhile, back here, we're gonna if you saw the first stream, it was about the 442. Right, I was talking about the 442, but also I'm also gonna deal with questions. Right, so before I go to the second formation or talk about other formations, I want to answer some of the questions that people have posted on Discord so that I can answer those questions. I can answer those questions here. Okay, so let's deal with one of those that I noticed in the training section. Right, so quite a few questions on training. So I'm gonna swap over and share the screen as well, so that you guys know what I'm talking about. All right, here we have a few questions, and I'll just try and see whether I can bring my camera up. No, my camera is too shy. Apparently, I forgot to add the camera to this. Let's see if I can add the camera to this. Wow, that's me very big now. Okay, and yeah, that should be fine. Over there is a pretty decent place to the camera right now. Okay, and now the whole thing is moved, and my camera is moved. Okay, let's move the camera back. Boom. All right. Okay. So questions, right? Okay. So we've got one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to talk about um, other people's training schedules or sessions, right? I don't find that to be particularly useful, um, and as well as like things like tactic testing and stuff like that, because honestly, there is a way to test tactics in the game, and I've already shared it on one of my other streams, and I don't recommend. I recommend you test the tactics out. If you want to have a bit more detail and you want to learn how to test tactics really well, then I suggest joining the team of first teamers, because I'm gonna take the first teamers, and I'm going to start showing them how to test tactics, so that if they ever need to find out how good a system is, they can actually do the test themselves, and you don't have to depend on somebody else to do the test, because yeah, there are reasons why, and I'll share the whole methodology with you guys. And it's actually quite good, the methodology. I'm not the one saying it, but somebody else is saying it. Yeah, developer is actually saying it. Okay, so things here. I keep getting advice from my coaches telling me a certain player isn't happy with the individual training focus as the player doesn't find it beneficial. Should I ignore this and keep them on that particular focus, or should I take them off it? So far, I've been doing the latter. Now, here, there's only two things you want to be worried about. The first thing is you need to know why they're complaining. If they're complaining because of okay, they could be complaining. They could be complaining for a lot of reasons, right? Now, the thing is, you have to figure out, okay, if the complaints are because the coaches aren't good enough. That's it. If the coaches are not good enough, then you actually go in and you go to the player, and then you do something about it. Then you get better quality coaches into the team. Now, if the now when players complain, it's also a function of their level of professionalism. Now, sometimes you'll find that professional players and model citizens complain. I would ignore the complaints, okay? And you know how you find out whether you want to ignore their complaints? Look at their training ratings. Sometimes their training ratings can be 8.7. Any training rating above 7 is good training rating, meaning he's doing well in training, and he's just moaning because, speaking as one who had I used to train, right? I used to do I used to run like competitively long time ago, and my coach used to do this. He used to make me run a marathon as a warm up. I hated him. So I hated the I used to complain all the time, right? Because every morning I show up for training, Monday morning, Wednesday morning, and Friday morning, I'd have to run 42 kilometers, and that was my warm up. And he'd be in a van. And all of us who were the same track and field team, right, we'd have to do the same shit. So we would run, right, 42 kilometers, and then we would come back, and then we would go into our circuit training, which is something I actually enjoyed more, because that's what I wanted to do, because I felt that you know, I developed my power and my endurance. But the thing is here that my coach had a long-term plan for me, and the only way to develop that long-term plan was to increase my endurance. Now, and within the context of my team, so players are always going to complain. It's the it's the nature of human behavior that you will find people complaining quite a lot. So if I were you, and you end up in a situation where, oh my god, they're complaining and complaining, and what am I going to do? Ignore them. The only time you actually do go to them and go, okay, we'll do something about this, is when they talk to you about the quality of coaches. If the quality of coach, they're complaining about the quality, then you do something about it. Then you improve the quality. Now, also be realistic as well, because there is going to be, you need to have targets set, because the complaints are going to come because of individual focus, right? So I tend to leave players on individual focus for up to 2 years. So you can leave a player on individual focus for as long as you want, but have a target. Like how much of that attribute do you want to see increased? And once it reaches that level, that's when you say, okay, fine, let's move on to something else. So when you do the training like that, you're gonna have to be mindful of your targets, and you're also going to be mindful of the source, the nature of the complaint, and that's the only time you will care about complaints. So I hope I answered that question. All right, coming back here. So we got that. I've now concluded lazy 5.5. What's the training? If anything above 7, I will ignore. Yep. That's how I do it. Kick ass with anything under 7 and praise anything above 9. That seems to work. Exactly. Don't go into a training. The only time you want to do something about training is you kick ass when they have a rating low. In fact, I wouldn't say less than 7, because 6.6, 6.8 is still considered average, right? So when 7 is good, okay? 6.8 is still okay. When you see that 6.6, that's when you start doing something about it, and you will see a little boost in their, sometimes you'll see a little boost in their training, and other times you might even see a boost in their performance, because you have to remember, training rating kicks into match performances. It's a cycle, so you want to be very careful about handling their training performances. I tend to do something right before a big game, and it's always worked. Okay. So what I tend to do before a big game, or if I find that my team has got poor form, right? It happens quite a lot. And the form is, we're going through a bad patch, right? So what I tend to do is I look at training rating. I look for the players that are in my first team and who are also giving me 6.6s, 6.5s. And what I do is I give them a kick up the ass. Not about the match, not about the game, about their training. You see, then it goes into the training, right? Because it's a cycle. Remember this, right? It's a cycle. It goes from training. And then if I want to talk about it, I've done it once before where I kick the guy for training. And then a day later, I kicked him for his match performance. But you got to be very careful of match performance, right? When it comes to criticizing a player's match performance, you do it after the game. You don't wait 2 or 3 days later. You do it immediately after the game, right? Train rating you do anytime. So you use this as a kicker before a big important match, so that the idea here is you want to manage their streaks. Right? You guys, you're gonna have players that have bad streaks, and I've explained it before. You use average rating in the last 5 games to tell whether a player is on a streak. So this is I find this is one of the best ways to handle players like this. All right, now next question. Oh, hi, Jahid. We're on the stream. How's it going? Is doing well. You missed part one. Did you do bring your tactics as well? No, I didn't do bring your tactics just yet. We'll save bring your tactics for when we have a few more tactics. We don't have enough, so we'll do a bring your tactics later. And maybe in a week or two, right? For the first team, for the guys in the first team, what I'm going to do is this: we're going to construct tactics together. So I'm going to do a stream, and then we're going to construct. So every month we'll construct a different tactic, right? The idea here is to become familiar with the strengths and weaknesses of different formations. So when I'm constructing the tactic, I'm hoping you guys have your football manager up as well, right? So this is going to be two-way, is a two-way street. So when I make it, you make it, and then you look at the players that you have, and then you will notice that there are going to be different results for different teams, which is very fascinating. All right, so let's go to the next one. I'm not sure if my expectations of player development over the first 6 months in charge are too high, but some don't seem. Oh no, I'm not going to talk about RDF's gains. Okay. All I'm going to say is this: training, right? Players are going to show extraordinary amount of attribute gains. I can pick any save of mine, right? I had one in Torino where I did a holiday save. I like see the way I test my trainings is not other people. Okay, when I test my training schedules up, I actually test them like I will do what I call a spreadsheet, and I will break players down by the age groups. Then I'll break players down by their appearances. And then I'll see how how the training has affected them. And I can safely tell you this much: younger players will always have bursts in attribute development, right? Pick one or two from two different teams, and they're both like 18, 22, 21. They'll definitely have bursts in training. The idea here is to manage the training not only of your younger players, which is going to happen, is the ones the oldest, and most importantly, training is about developing their attributes. But more importantly, it's about your results on the pitch, right? Don't forget that if you take a schedule which does not have any upcoming bonus and all that stuff inside there, you don't do like match preparation activities before the match, and you're only interested in developing attributes, right? When you go to a big game, you are opting to forego the upcoming bonus for 15 minutes. So the trick here is this: when do you decide to do less match preparation and jack up the actual training? That is the what's the term for it? That is the catch. It's not really a catch-22, but that is the big dilemma you're gonna face, because you might want to win every single game, but you also want to develop your players. So there is this this distinct choice that you have to make between two opposing things, right? And you're gonna have to decide which way to go. So the easy so I can easily create a training schedule where I will produce 53 point attribute gains but no match preparation bonuses. That's easy to do. Some of my schedules are uploaded, have them in there already. And there are some training schedules I have which forego 53 point attribute gains for 53 straight wins. So which one do you want? So that is that dilemma that you're going to face. So the question at the end of the day is, you're looking for balanced development. You're not and at the same time, you're trying to get good results on the pitch. So when you develop your players, be aware of two things. First, younger players are always going to develop really well. So you should see by the anniversary. So you don't look at it 6 months or a year. Look at the anniversary of their birthday. So if they turn 18 the next year, then when they're 19, check the anniversary. Is it the anniversary? Is the anniversary? Good. You go inside there and look at his attributes. Most of the time, you should be happy with 15 to 20. They will automatically gain 15 to 20 attribute points without you having haven't even done anything. I had one player, I still remember the Torino when I did my training test. I did a training. Yes, I do simulations for training as well. Right. So I did this very detailed simulation on trading, and I have a few machines because I have invested quite a lot of effort into Football Manager and helping the community. So I have quite a few machines, and some of them are run all the way doing simulations to ensure that things like I get you the right tactics, I get you the right training schedules. And the idea here is not to game the system. I don't believe in gaming the system. Yeah, actually, I do believe in gaming the system. What I mean is, I don't believe in exploiting the system. What I want to do is, I want to give you approaches to playing the game which don't require you to have a PhD in the game. All you need to do is just think logically, you know, just keep things logical. So just make sure the balance, right? No, like for example, right? When do I go hardcore into training? Right, I have a period of time where I just dial down. I dial down October, November, no, November, December, January. I dial down those 3 months. During those 3 months, there's a very strong possibility I'm going to go balanced. There's a very strong possibility lots of match preparation activities. Why? Because matches are coming thick and fast. They got 2 games, 3 games a week. Then once that fixture pile up is done, I jack the training up. Then I keep it up all the way until the end of the season. Or I get a tactical familiarity up as quickly as I can by September. Right? By September, I can usually the best I've done is early September. Right? I got 10 tactical, but in order for you to do that, all 11 players have to be playing the same tactic. And you got to keep playing those 11 players so they get tactically familiar very fast. And then what I do after that is I jack the training up. Once they get tactically, boom, the training goes right up. Right, I punch it really high, and then I just choose one match preparation activity, attacking, movement. That's it, and I keep the rest. So I just aim for that one bonus, right? And I'm hoping to get a goal. So I pay a lot of attention to the first 15 minutes because I aim to get a goal. I play like Liverpool do right now in real life, which is in the first 15 minutes I have to score a goal. After I've scored the goal, I control the game and I close it out. Then I maintain my rating. So this is something that you might have to think about. It's not difficult to do, but we will start doing this a bit more with Team Talk, this month's Team Talk, right? So this month's Team Talk is going to be very special because I want us to create tactics together. And then I want to do with the Team Talk session is I want to prove, and for the rest of you guys who are not in the first team, don't worry about it. I'll do a Discord session as well, where I will take one tactic and then I will go through creating that tactic with you guys as well. Okay, so you guys might have a chance to vote on what tactic you guys want me to create next. All right. Yeah, Chico is right. It takes time and patience. Exactly. This training is all about time and patience. Okay, let's see another one. I responded to that one. Okay. All right, so let's see. General tactic chat. We got another question here. Okay, this has got Villa in it. Okay, let's see. I know Tediosk, right? You were having a challenge at the start, and then after that you became okay, which is absolutely fantastic. So I want you guys to take this chance, right? So I will be doing this kind of shows, right? Once a week or once a fortnight. When there are certain questions, sometimes I give like really short answers to questions, which is not something I like to do. But I'm trying also to develop this community so that you guys become so good at it, you can help each other out. So I'm definitely going to be targeting some of these questions, and I'll be answering some of these questions myself. There are a lot of good players now in the community. I'm working on a Trequartista as a top-up role to move around the Engash, still working on other ideas for how to surround it, but it feels like I've been trying to build a creative pinwheel around the Engash. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Colin, you're right. when you want to play with an Engash, you're basically creating yes, the best description is a creative pinwheel. Because around him, what you want to do is players with very good off the ball, with very good movement. Because the Engash is a static player. So he is just a hook. He's a creative hook because if he sees a chance on the flanks, he might play a no look blind pass, right? Sometimes he does that. But you need players to come off him. That means they go support, or they could be if you mentioned this, if your Engash is surrounded by attack duties, you have a problem. Now, the Engash only really works with teams that have got a good spread of support duties and attack duties in the team. But then the problem becomes this: how do you attack space? We'll be going to that next, right? So we'll do a look at a tactic. Because if you have an Engash in a 4-2-3-1, then you can't have too many players playing off him, because then what happens when you face a team that's playing with the wing back on attack? By the time your attack gets moving, everybody's back defending. That can happen when you're playing with a lot of support duties. So then because the Engash will really flow in that kind of a system, think Liquid, Engash, very nice in that kind of a setup. But you try it with a structured system, Engash will just fall apart. So plenty of little reminders flocking into my screen right now, flogging into my screen. Alright, so 5 defeats in a row. I know this is the part where you started reevaluating your tactic. I'm very happy to see that after that, you just got a lot better. There we go. Any thoughts? 5-2 wing back. We covered that in the earlier stream, right? So how to play against a 5-2-3, which is basically don't let the wingbacks out, play high up the pitch and choke them to death, or draw their wingbacks out and then hit them behind the spaces where they're operating with attack duties down the flanks. So that's basically how you would attack a team like that. This is my starting position. I do tweak. Okay, this is your attack. There we go. So you became a lot more comfortable, had a lot more success with the 4-4-2. We look at threat. I'm very happy. See, this is what I like about the 4-4-2, right? Put original. Can we see a bigger? Yeah, we can see one bigger one here. All right, here we go. Target man on attack, pressing forward. Target man pressing forward. White midfielder, DLP, Mezzala, white midfielder, wingback defense. This is actually a very, very, very safe 4-4-2. This is and you've done something really sharp, right? Okay, let me explain why this is a good tactic for a struggling team. And this is why 4-4-2s can be very good for a lot of teams, especially if you're a struggling team. Now, what he's done here is a very sharp counter-attacking tactic, which generally relies on only 2 players. We spoke about this today on the 4-4-2. The 4-4-2 with a target man and a pressing forward, basically here are relying on 2 players to, for you to hit the ball. And remember the earlier example I used a similar one. I had 2 attack duties in front, and then we have a white midfielder here who will move into this area during the transition, which is the space in front of McGinn, right? He will move into the space where McGinn is operating, and then the other white midfielder will move into the space where the Mezzala is operating. So in that kind of a setup, it's going to be pretty interesting. So this is actually a very good 4-4-2 because you got wingbacks on defense. Now, wingbacks on defense with the overlap, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a brilliant setup. Because you have wingbacks on defense with the overlap, what you will see is that they're positioned high up the pitch. And now with wide midfielders going in a bit narrow, those wingbacks are going to do this. Brilliant. And you're safe. And the best part about this is those wingbacks will almost always get a cross in, because the wide midfielder can also do the cross and the wingback can do the cross. Now, take all of that out of the equation and you got the 2 guys in the middle who can unlock teams with the direct passes from them. This is a very, 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 very nice tactic. Built off Maves. Okay. You just saw this is the Maves tactic. Okay. But it's close. It's a good way to understand it. Because when I created this system for in my German save, right? I did this German save, if I'm not mistaken, like Hoffenheim, right? I was playing with Hoffenheim, and with this Hoffenheim save, the challenge for me was how do I, with the Hoffenheim save, put myself in a position where I can handle sides like Bayern Munich and hit them over the top. That was my challenge. And I'm glad to see that you guys have I'm proud of you, man. I really am proud of you guys. You guys are getting there. You guys are definitely getting there. All right. Okay, so next question, right? So then that was the 4-4-2. I got some rough games coming out soon. Might switch DLP to Carrillo midfield. That's not too bad. DLP to Carrillo just means, okay, the only problem with the 4-4-2 when you use a Carrillo is this. Okay. You got a bit more space in the middle to take care of because the Carrillo tends to stay wide during the transition. So you absolutely need to make sure that the Carrillo has got very good first touch, dribbling, passing, composure. Otherwise, when he loses the ball, you get a big empty hole in the center of your pitch. So also close to signing Guendouzi on loan. Yep, that's a brilliant signing. Guendouzi is one of the most underrated cheap players in the game. Speaking of which, yeah, that's a very good player to sign. One file, the simplest way to send files around the world. Richie, okay, I see you guys are sharing files with each other. Yeah, that's cool. I'm sure there's a check the full fat. All right, so this is a Rangers tactic that Daddios came up with. Okay, let's discuss this tactic. Okay, now this is because Morris, you're having some issues with your tactic, and Daddios, which is something that I'm enjoying right now. You guys are helping each other out in the community, which is exactly where this community should be heading. Because if I die tomorrow, I want this community to continue in my absence, without my names there. Yeah, but do it in the spirit that was created, which is to help each other out, and we kick out those people who whinge too much. Really, if people start saying it's a match engine, this match engine, that, just kick them out. You know, just you know, if I die tomorrow, just use my, you know, just holler my name and kick him out. Yeah, something like that. All right, DLF on attack, Shadow Striker, very nice. Why am I very happy with this setup? DLF tends to drop deeper, right? When he drops deeper, Shadow Striker is going to take his place. Now, interestingly enough, he's gone with 2 support duties on the flanks, the inverted wingers. Now, inverted wingers by nature are more creative. They look to do the cross diagonal. They will look to create more chances. Instead of bombing down the flanks, they'll be staying in the vicinity of 2 creative players in the DLP and the Mazzala. The Mazzala will help the inverted winger on the right keep the ball. The DLP will help the inverted winger on the left keep the ball. Now, he's also put in an overlap with the wingback on defense, which makes the left side one a bit more secure, and on the right flank is a overlap, wingback on support overlapping. The inverted winger will tend to cut inside. Now, this is not exact, it's not a very ambitious tactic, but it's still a stable tactic. Why? Because your principal threat is the one in front, the forward and the shadow striker. The other option that you can have is when you create a tactic like this, right, you can go with a target man and a shadow striker, a complete forward and a shadow striker, a pressing forward and a shadow striker. Any one of those combinations can work, because then what you're creating is a pair of players that are being, we have to work off each other. Now, the only caveat I have with the other roles is that they need to drop, right? So the only one that really drops the best is the DLF on attack. The rest tend to stay on the shoulders. Another one that will drop is the target man. The target man will definitely drop, right? So the target man on attack sometimes drops deeper as well. So my 2 favorite roles will be the target man, DLF, and finally even the complete forward. Now, complete forward is a bit more of a challenge to use in FM20 because current ability, so that might be an issue. Other than that, it's a very well thought out tactic. It's good. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. The 2 inverted wingers are not the issue. You can go with inverted winger and winger, right? If you have an issue with this tactic, right? So if there's any time, this Mazzala and this inverted winger, this side could be a bit more. In fact, what I would do is I'll move the wing back to the support duty to the left flank and swap the wide midfielder on defense to the other flank. Why? Because there's a greater chance that we could have a problem. Actually, come to think of it, I would watch the game. Worst case scenario, change the Mazzala to a roaming playmaker. That's it. Right? If you need to change anything in this tactic, it will probably be the Mazzala's role to a roaming playmaker. The inverted winger on the right flank, you could change it to a winger without too much trouble. The winger will give you a bit more width. Remember, the inverted winger on the left flank could stay wide or can shift narrow. A winger on the right flank, on the other hand, is more likely to stay wider during the transition. So you could have a winger on the right flank, you could have like a roaming playmaker in the middle and still do okay with this tactic. It's not a bad tactic, it's pretty good. All right, as we go through some of the other tactics, oh yeah, they're talking about me doing coaching, but okay, so if I'm honest, I think I built a Korean tab, but if something goes on, I have absolutely no idea how to fix it. I'm basically clueless at tactics. I'm also not a very analytical person. I think I asked this before, but is it possible to improve at spotting things? I get very impatient, and on FM, you need to have patience. Okay, this is what we're gonna do, right? Moving forward. I thought about this. We're gonna play a game on Discord very soon. I'm gonna do a video, right? And I'm gonna post it on the on Discord. And I want you guys to spot the transition. Essentially, that's it. It's a short video. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna have to do it some way or another. Create a video, and I don't want to post it on YouTube. I'm gonna have to find a way to post it. Maybe I'll link it to a Dropbox, my Dropbox, and then I can do a short video there, make it into a really small file, and then I'll link the file back here. And all you gotta do is watch that transition. And I want you guys to tell me what was the failure in the transition. Now, this is the important part. A transition failure will occur because of a few things. It could be an unbalanced tactic, meaning it could be your TIs, it could be your PIs, it could be your roles, it could be the player. Right? So, which one of these can it be? Now, there are going to be plenty of reasons why a tactic fails. The question is whether we can identify what those reasons can be, and that is going to be the. I don't know how well this is going to work, because I was thinking of ways in which to do transition exercises. Normally, most of the time when I'm coaching you guys, I normally make you play a game, and then the two of us I'm watching you play the game, and then the first person to say stop and identifies the transition usually wins. So I can spot like maybe 40 to 50 transitions in a game, right, that require you to stop. They may not require you to fix something straight away, but they certainly require you to take notice. Things like A, corner routines. Somebody's not marking the far post. Things like defending you're taking a corner, right? Right? The transition immediately after you've taken the corner, you lose the ball, right? The AI is going to counter-attacking mode. Your player fails to clear the danger. Transition failure. I need to know why. So these are things I look for in a game, right? Simple things. Another one, and this is the easiest of the lot, is you should always be able to create a chance on goal from your goal kick. It kicks off, the keeper plays the ball out, you should see a seamless TikTok passing movement all the way to a chance on goal. Now, if that fails, there's somewhere along the way something didn't work. Your job should be to figure out what went wrong. It could be the role might not have been right. Right? So these are things that we need to spot. Now, I know that for some of you, it's very difficult and you're not a very analytical person, but just think of it this way. Anybody can do it. You know why? All you got to do is remember three things. The first thing is the move did not link up. Why? Okay, the first reason would be, could he pass the ball? That's easy for you to visualize. He could pass the ball to somebody. Why didn't he pass the ball? Then you got to go and look at him as a player. Right? Then you look at him as a player. Maybe his passing isn't good. Maybe his composure isn't good. That's easy, because then you have to put yourself in the player's position. So this is the easiest way of doing it. Most of you have played football before, right? So put yourself in the player's position. Why wouldn't you pass the ball? Then you go like, I wasn't sure about whether I could pass the ball to you or not. Then the guy was coming onto me. I didn't have much time to react. I panicked under pressure, stuff like that. So you're looking at the player as being the reason. Okay, now this is another one. You know that sometimes you got transition failures when nobody's tackling. Like, for example, right, these guys just come through and nobody seems to want to throw in a tackle. Yeah, it's really easy. You look at your width, your defensive width. Were you too narrow? Because when you play very narrow, you're asking them to come down the flanks. So there are going to be lots of reasons why a transition. Now the thing is, this transition failures are not an exercise. It's not a zero-sum game, right? There's never a definite answer to something. It's what we call reductivism, right? So we have to reduce the common denominators and then find possible reasons why it can happen, right? So sometimes it could be because the player, because the player just couldn't handle the pressure. That's it. So we go like, okay, fine, he couldn't handle the pressure, and that could be the only reason why, because everything else seemed okay. So these are things that we wanna make sure that we can address in the game. No, the reason why I'm looking around is because I used to have my microphone on a boom. So I now put my microphone on the table. And now I'm realizing that it's a pain in the ass to have a microphone on the table. You need it on a boom. So now I'm gonna try and figure out how do I actually get it back on a boom after I rearrange all my furniture. Real pain. Yeah, excuse that. Okay, now we go to the next question. Uh, use comprehensive and start with each other and each subsequent pass. Press pause any other time. Exactly. That's yeah. Daddios, I've coached him before, right? So I've coached him. And it's a fun exercise. Do what Daddios has just said, right? Every time, do a little simple exercise in your game. Go to comprehensive highlights, pause at the start of each challenge and each subsequent pass, press pause, and then take the time to think what's happening here, where's the space, what are the passing options, how my duties and roles playing out on screen. If the boss is lost, how will I defend attack? That's it. The moment you start doing this slowly, you know what's going to happen to your game? Everything's going to be intuitive. You'll just become Neo you'll be in the Matrix. You just see it. Right? You will just see it. And you will probably be making changes to the game instinctively, right? So yeah, that's basically it. Let's go some more. I thought this were wrong. Villa. Okay, what shall I do if the opponent's center backs are racking up crazy number of passes, like 100 on both? Yeah, 5-3-2's problem, right? All those narrow tactics. Because they don't want to come out and play. So they will pass the ball and they will rack up some insane numbers. It's partly to do with the fact that they are playing on a cautious mentality, so they're not willing to come out. So generally what I like to do is I like to give them enough rope for them to hang themselves with. So there are two options. One, I give up the flanks. I say bring the ball up. So the defenders now have options. They give it to the wing back. The wing back then goes up. The wing back then attacks the flank and they enter a transition where they push higher up the pitch. That's one option. The second option is you don't give them time on the ball. So basically what you do is you OI the crap out of the ball playing defenders. You play with a system where you're putting more pressure on them. Like for example, the 5-3-2, I'll play the 4-2-3-1. There's an AMC there that's going to be hounding them. There's an AMC that is going to be hounding that space between where the fullbacks are and the defender. You can also use a 4-1-2-2-1, but it's not as effective. But you can still do it a 4-1-4-1, and you can still get away with it. So yeah, I would definitely apply more pressure on them. So the first thing I'll do is OI the central defenders. I used to do that a lot. I've become lazy lately and I don't do that anymore. But OIing the entire central defense, meaning the moment they get the ball, your players are told to close them down. So they're rushed into making a pass. Now, the idea here is that for them to play the pass out quickly and get them into a transition. So it's either you collapse the width of your attacking tactics. So you collapse the width of yourself when you're defending so you can draw them down the flanks, or conversely put pressure on them by playing higher up the pitch with a higher line of engagement. Yeah. Exactly, high line of engagement and pressing forwards. I'm playing 4-1-4-1 with wide players, AMR, hence normally I only have one centre forward chasing the ball. Both CMs and AMRs on tight marking but not close down more. You don't play tight marking, because now your AML and AMR and your CM are all on tight marking. Remove the tight marking. You want to loosen up your formation so you can press a bit more. Tight marking literally just means that you're allowing them to play the ball. You see, when you tight mark, all your players are tight marking, right? Who is pressing that? Then everybody else in your tactic is occupied. They're all doing what you're telling them to do. So you've told your central midfielders to tight mark. You told your AMLs to tight mark. Who are they going to tight mark? The wing back? Okay, then they're going to wing back tight mark. Nobody is applying pressure on the central defenders. And the central defenders and the goalkeeper are going, hey man, we can do this all day because everybody else is doing something else. So remove tight marking completely from your tactic. Don't use it. OI, get last man, use a role like a pressing forward in your 4-1-4-1. Your pressing forward is going to hound them as well. And OI, their central defenders, hard tackle them, press them, force them out of their comfort zone, play higher up the pitch with a higher line of engagement. It's not you don't have to do this for every single tactic, but especially for the 5-3-2s. Now, what I like to do with a 4-1-4-1, and I've done it on Twitch many times with AC Milan when I'm playing a 5-3-2, is I like to go all the way up. Not the higher defensive line, not the defensive line. Defensive is the higher line of engagement, is literally high up the pitch. I choke them to death. I go right up, highlight my three boys. I have a split block. I do not tight mark with my three boys. I only close down and tackle. I refuse to tight mark. Tight marking is almost a recipe for disaster. Why? Because you're telling your boys to tight mark. They will just hang on. It doesn't help pressing. Because instead of you want them to press the opposition when they have the ball, what you are doing in tight marking is you're telling your players, stay close to them. Stay close to this guy. Nobody press the ball. Nobody press the guy there. Or you just stay close to the other person. Right? Okay. And that implies that your boys can mark. What if your boys can't mark? Because you expect your AML to do a tight mark. What's his marking attribute? Because it looks at a marking attribute for that to work properly. So don't do that. A 4-1-4-1, when I play a 4-1-4-1 against a deep 5-3-2, what I'm actually doing is I'm playing high up the pitch. I actually stretch that little 5-3-2 all the way. So I go direct, I lower the tempo, and I ping the ball left and right. I move the entire formation. They hardly ever get time on the ball. So and then the best part is this, with the OI to close down their central defenders, right, and their wing backs, you know what I'm doing? Basically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I used to do this even more aggressively last time, but it still works. Goalkeeper, all the three central defenders, and the wing backs, all wide. Close pressing intensity, right? The moment they get the ball, they're under pressure. They can't afford to. Then so you get the right kind of roles in your tactic to do that. And you can do that kind of. You can play that kind of a game. When you're playing against a weak team, it's easy. But when you're playing some of the other teams, is a bit different. I'm playing 4-1-4 with white players again. I am higher LOE. You've done that. Try closing down more on my white forward. But you have to remove tight marking. That's all. Good teams easily play through my AML who close down more and cause. Yeah, the thing is this, right? Good teams are always gonna press your. Good teams are always gonna press. What you do instead is, instead of tight marking, what you do is man marking. See, your AML and your AMR, what I like to do is I do Bielsa's man marking style, which is I tell my AML to man mark their fullback. I tell my AMR to man mark their right back. So now they have no options to pass to the wing backs. They have to play the pass to somebody else. So it's either the ball playing defenders are then forced to make a pass. And that's when you might want to think about putting somebody closer, because you got your 4-1-4-1, right? So one of your central midfielders is man marking their playmaker. Okay, so we got people are using the, man, this is interactive, man, as it's happening. It's so interactive. You guys are typing in the questions through Discord and I'm seeing them at the same time. Cool. It's like we're not getting into our formation very soon, are we? So yeah, this is my basic setup, the D line. Since you know me well by now, playing a low block, yeah, I know you always play a low block. Rian believes in being tortured, so he loves to draw teams in and hit them over the top. My prayer point was AF on the right side. He's a midget but extremely fast. Okay, fine. There's nothing wrong with playing a midget who's extremely fast. I tried to use no. I wouldn't use a poacher. I'll still use him as an advanced forward. You come in the way of the Mazar. How can I make him position better, knowing you can't cross because he can't even get something? Oh, all right. Whip crosses. You don't cross mix right or low. You do whip crossing. For short plays, you do whip crossing. It seems to work quite well. Advanced forward attack. No, yours is a low block, right? When you play I'm not confused. Are you much higher line of engagement, extremely urgent? This is not low block. I'm confused, Rain. This is not a low block system. the D-line sees you know are playing a low block. That's not a low block. A low block is when your defensive line, your line of engagement is low, not when you're playing with a tactic like this. This is not a low block. This is actually you're setting your tactic up to play with a high block, okay? Because you've got a much higher line of engagement. A much higher line of engagement means your wingbacks and your wingbacks on defense are going to start engaging the team the moment they bring the ball out. So the moment they come into their zone. So in the case of the wingback and the wingback on support, they're going to be doing that at the halfway line. So that's not a low block. If you want to do a low block, then what you're doing is you're playing with at least a standard line of engagement. In this case, I wouldn't do standard. I'll just do a high line of engagement, right? Because standard you're gonna suffer from long shots because there's nobody in the D duty in your central midfield. So you will be playing with a high line of engagement, right? And you'll be playing on a positive mentality, but I will remove the passing as well. If you're looking to release the AF, then you don't do slightly shorter passing. You do something a bit more aggressive, like direct passing, so that you can get the ball out to the advanced forward early so they can hit them into space because you have distribute over opposition defense, right? So there's a few, the thing here is you have a few I would say a few TIs that just don't seem to work very well together. For example, counter press, right? Counter press is when you lost the ball in the opponent's side. Makes some sense with a 5-3-2 because you don't want to go back and rebuild your attacks again. So you might as well try again. But it's going to affect all the players except for the 3 central defenders, right? So in this particular case, I will be looking at changing your passing to maybe mix or direct. And then distribution over opposition defense. If you're going to do distribution over opposition defense, turn the complete forward to a target man. Because then there is something to hit the ball to, right? Then your players are going to look, you can even play double target man. Because you have to remember, right, that your team isn't just delivering crosses. And then if you're talking about get the wingback Newton and the wingback Taylor to aim their crosses to the far post for both of them. So Newton is going to cross to the far post. He's not crossing to a play. He's crossing to the far post where your short striker can get away, because that's what I do with my short players. I never send crosses to target men if they're short. I send crosses to specific areas of the pitch like the far post. And you can also tell a goalkeeper to actually do ball distribution directly to the roaming playmaker instead of distributing over the opposition defense. Or you can tell him to kick the ball straight to McGregor. You can do that too. Tell him, you can specifically set it to a specific position on the pitch if his kicking is very good. So just small little tweaks I will do. You want the goalkeeper's distribution to be fast, right? Okay, move your passing to a bit more direct, and then change your role from a complete forward to a target man, and then tell Lewis to release the target man most of the time. You can actually release the target man, or in this case the left flank, because your left flank is the more dangerous of the two flanks, right? It's not your right flank that's more dangerous. Actually, your left flank is more dangerous. You've got a box-to-box and a wing-back on support that are in a position for you to hold and control the ball. So yeah, that's small little things like that. But the low block is this is your RP. What is your RP? Roaming playmaker? My RP. Oh, your roaming playmaker, correct. Oh man, I don't know which league you're playing in, but off the ball 9, not so good. Hereford, are you in the championship, or are you in League One? I think League One, if I'm not mistaken. Hereford are in League One. It's not too bad. First touch, passing not so good, vision okay. He can't play long passes. He can only play shorter passes. He might miss the long pass once in a while, but it's not bad. No worries, man. PT win. League One, right? Okay, that's not too bad. If he's in League One, that's fine. Make sure you're training for passing individual focus, and leave the individual focus for the rest of his life. Don't take it off. Just leave it on passing for the rest of his life. Right? Tell him for the rest of your life you are going to be doing passing. Right? You got nothing else. I want you to do nothing else for me. You are now doing passing. Make him suffer in silence and make him happy. I'm just looking for a new spot for my microphone. I'm just looking around this when I have to put one monitor here, one monitor. Sorry for taking this. Right, I'm looking at the positions where I can put the microphone. The thing problem is the boom mic has to usually come from the side. Problem is I don't have any sides now left where I can put a boom mic to, and then boom mic comes this way. Damn man, this is annoying. Putting a microphone on the table is definitely not a smart thing to do. This is gotta fix this, man. This is so silly. I should never have put the damn mic on the table. It's so annoying. Look at this. It's so bloody nonsensical. It's so nonsensical. I can't even get past this. Man, who the hell puts a microphone on the table? I gotta fix this. Excuse the like. There was no obscenities uttered there. I hope. Yeah, I'm trying to be a better person in the long run. Yeah, some people don't believe me though. They seem to think my apologies are not sincere. She actually hounded me on Twitter. Can you believe it? And I suspect I know who these people are. It's a personal little attack. Which almost at one point made me wish I wasn't doing content. But then I got you guys to keep me going. So yeah. Alright, so we've covered these tactics, right? We don't wanna do this for too long because as you know, there are football matches that are gonna be played tonight. Okay? Alright, so we've done these questions, we've done all the questions. Have we got any more? Training chat, we covered training chat, we covered general tactics and training. Alright, done. So now we're gonna go into the game. Once again, guys, no more logos, no more logos, and what's the other thing I don't have anymore? Face packs. I'm not using face packs as well. I mean, regen face packs will definitely be there, but meaning new gen face packs. So no more logos and stuff. I mean, Serie A. Looks like I'm going to be playing Serie A for a long time or Bundesliga because there's only places that have nice logos. All right, okay, so here we go. We've got now we're going to talk about the 4-1-4-1, right? Okay, the 4-1-4-1 is one of the most the 4-1-4-1 is probably one of the top tactics in football match. It has been that way for a long time. I mean, the only other tactics that are really better than a 4-1-4-1 probably the 4-4-2 and the 4-2-3-1. The best tactic in scoring goals is probably the 4-2-3-1. The best tactic in winning matches is probably the 4-1-4. There's a reason why I say scoring goals and winning matches. 4-1-4 can grind out a lot of 1-0 results. A lot. 4-2-3-1, not so much. It scores a lot of goals, but it can also be very vulnerable. Now, the 4-1-4-1 has got its weaknesses. The weaknesses of the 4-1-4-1 is actually its goal scoring output. When you play against a 4-1-4-1, when you play against a 4-1-4-1, you're gonna have to understand one thing. A lot of these tactics need a second element to arrive before they become actually very strong. And this is usually going to be the fullbacks. So the weakness of the 4-1-4-1 is that unless its fullbacks get involved in play, the 4-1-4-1 is going to struggle to create chances. So it needs the fullbacks to bomb up the pitch before the playmakers in the middle can dictate play. Now the 4-1-4-1 has got several ways of you can create them in several ways. You can create something which is like a tiki-taka 4-1-4-1. In order for you to do that, you're probably going to use 3 playmakers in the middle. Yes, 3, not 1, not 2, 3. Yeah, I see the looks of bafflement on your faces. No. Do not listen to anybody out there who says 2 playmakers are overkill when you got a player like me using 3. Okay. The reason is there is something called the priority system when it comes to playmakers. But when you have 3 playmakers in the middle, what it really does is it makes your system become that kind of like you got 3 guys who can pass the ball to each other and keep the ball. Imagine Barcelona, right? how they can keep the ball in the center of the pitch. You've got three very capable players of doing this. So if you have those kind of players, putting three in the middle as playmakers can be very, very good. Then you can create a system where you are basically, keeping the ball really well in the middle, waiting for support to go, and then you're doing this switching of players, playing to the fullback, playing to the wing back, and then you play direct passing on standard or higher direct and high tempo maybe only good for counter-attacking systems. Direct with low tempo is very good for teams that are very good at passing the ball and getting players in support. Just remember that, okay? You want to make a counter-attacking system is direct, higher tempo. You want to make and unlock a team and make them suffer tactic, direct, low. Why? Because low tempo means you are moving you are taking enough time to build up your attacks, getting players into position so that the playmakers in the middle can do a lot of fun. Yeah. I have got a lot of tactics. Okay, give you an example. Liquid last year featured two playmakers in the middle. I consider the Mazala a quasi playmaker and a DM on support. But the best version of Liquid was never shared. I never shared it. I kept it for myself. That one had a register, a playmaker, and a roaming playmaker. So I had an attacking playmaker, a roaming playmaker, and a register. It was a triple playmaker threat, right? So my attacking playmaker would arrive late in the box. My register will push up with them, and my roaming playmaker was going to accompany them all the way. Very nice, lots of brilliant movement, and lots of nice goals. But here, you got to understand where you want to take the tactics. So a 4-1-4-1 can be very, very creative, but that's the problem with the 4-1-4-1. So if you ever come up against a 4-1-4-1, what do you have to worry about? You have to worry about giving the players in the middle time and space to become creators. Because that one striker on his own is not going to give you too many problems unless you have become a bit neurotic. You've decided to play at a much higher line of engagement. You threw everybody into attack, you threw everything into attack, and you left nothing behind. Then of course you deserve to lose. But some of the FM streamer showdowns, right? Some of them deserve to lose their matches. I saw some of the tactics. You shouldn't have. Yeah, I'm sorry. You should have lost. Okay, so when you have that kind of a setup, okay, what you're looking at is one striker can't do any damage to you unless behind him are three playmakers or two playmakers. Okay, the balance is nice, but so the thing here to remember is this: for the tactic to become very strong, it has to have these wing backs attacking. It's got to have the fullbacks attacking. The further away they are from the playmakers, the weaker the system becomes. So when you are playing against a 4-1-4-1 and you want to shut the 4-1-4-1 down, first thing you look for is not the three playmakers in the middle. You shut down the source, right? You can have an aggressive setup where you are playing a similar tactic against them. But if I'm playing a 5-3-2, for example, if I'm playing a 5-3-2 against a 4-1-4-1 and I wanted to destroy the 4-1-4-1, it'd be a big ass challenge, because I would have to make sure that I'm playing high enough for my 5-3-2 to engage them in the middle of the park, because otherwise they will be coming at me for throughout the whole match. Then I would also need to have my wingbacks playing further up the pitch. They need an overlap now. This will leave my backline exposed, and this is where their three players become a danger. So if I'm playing a 5-3-2 against a 4-1-4-1, it's really they're gonna be a lot of problems for me, because a 5-3-2 against a 4-1-4-1 is a mismatch. Because the only way the 5-3-2 is gonna beat the 4-1-4-1 is by not attacking, by not going up. So the wingbacks have to stay static, right? You gotta stay static. So if you're playing a 5-3-2 against a 4-1-4-1, what you basically do is like creating something like the tactic that Rain just showed, right? Something like that. Wingback on support, wingback on defense. Don't be too ambitious. Okay, maybe not a Mazala, maybe box, maybe a deep line playmaker on support. You play with three support duties in the middle, right? So that you're putting their three players under some pressure, right? And then you're trying to break them down so that they are forced, because once their DM comes into your half, you're in trouble. So you're basically trying to reduce their options to pass the ball. So the 5-3-2 is going to use the three in the middle, and you cannot have a defend duty there. you'll have to have 3 support duties so that you can take out the 2 support duties. The moment your central player, right, the moment the central player is on defend duty, you have a problem, because then you only have those 2, and those 2 have to start pressing players, and they'll get pulled out of position, and then their 4-1-2-3-1 will come alive. So you have to play 3 support duties. You have to take out their 3 playmakers. More importantly, you got to keep them occupied, not take them out. You got to keep them occupied. But the wingbacks, their wingbacks, they need to be tracked with opposition instructions. So whenever their wingbacks get away, you have to allow. You can't mark the inverted winger and the winger. You can't do that. The moment you mark the inverted winger and winger, you're in trouble, right? Because the wingbacks are all gonna come up the pitch. So basically, what you're doing is you're using your wingbacks to always mark or apply pressure on their backline. So you got 2 options, right? So your wingbacks are being told to apply. So you got all eyes on their fullbacks, so that when their fullbacks come out the pitch, you start closing them down. And then you're playing with defensive with wide, so that you shut down all the threats on the flanks early, because you don't want to be dealing with crosses. Okay, if you can deal with, if your players are good enough for the cross, fine, but then you're also going to try and transition to attack very quickly. That's one of the reasons why the 5-3-2 and the 4-1-4-1, because the moment the 4-1-4-1 enters your half and it goes with these 2 fighter pilots on the sides attacking you like this, the three defenders are going to get torn apart. So you're going to have to, the 4-1-4 is probably the most stable system to play in most cases, right? In most cases, you can just morph it. You can morph it from one formation to another. You can go 4-1-4-1. You can go from a 4-1-4-1 to another tactic easily, right? So, like for example, this one of the reasons why the 4-1-4-1 is a very painful system. It's similar to this, right? If you play with a 4-4-1-1. A 4-4-1-1 is also a very strong tactic in the game, because imagine this, you're playing a 5-3-2 or a 4-1-4-1 against this 4-4-1-1. You got a lot of problems with a 4-4-1-1. A 4-4-1-1 can be stable defensively because of his wide midfielders. You can use 2 wide midfielders, or you can use even an inverted winger in this particular case going this way, and this guy can just be a wingback on defense. This guy can be a wingback on defense, and this guy can be a attack duty shadow striker, and this guy can be a deep line forward and support. And you got a and this guy can be a roaming playmaker on support. 4-1-4-1s can be very hard to break down as well, because these tactics can be, they got 2 banks of 4. The moment you get 2 banks of 4, they become hard to break down. So if you're playing a 4-1-4-1 against this tactic, it's just going to be the cross. It can be the crossing death. This tactic can become the crossing death. It's just like, remember the 4-4-2 the 4-4-2 Maves tactic that I put up the other day? Same principle, right? You can put a target man here on support, shadow striker, and that's it. How are you going to defend against this? Very hard to defend against this, because these guys are always going to get the crossing in. It's a very hard system to play against. You're going to try this as well. You should try creating a 4-1-4-1 and see how difficult this system is. Because the one thing that you may have a problem with is the defense, right? So most of the time, you probably do something like this: ball winning midfield on support, roaming playmaker, shadow striker. This guy helps to win the ball here. And then we have NCD, defender. These guys can hoof the ball up, or we can play a roaming playmaker, and then you remove the player defense. You go to mixed passing. You can play a standard tempo. Narrow means you're always passing inside and keeping the ball. The 4-1-4-1, 4-4-1-1 is very difficult to play. You got to be very careful when you come up against this tactic. If you come up against this tactic, your goal has to be, right, to actually see the ball. Because if you play against this tactic, you're gonna find that every time you lose the ball, these 2 guys are waiting to counter attack, and you got crosses. These guys are going to be able to cross to their heart's delight. And the way I've created this is I've got a third thread here. So target man will drop, shadow striker will arrive, and these 2 guys will arrive late. So very, very dangerous on the fast transition. How do you defend against this? Well, for one thing, I would not. Well, I don't know how to defend against this, man, to be honest with you. Let me think. I created this on the fly. How do I defend against my own tactic? Because this player is going to kill my defensive midfielder, my halfback. I won't be able to pass out the back because he's going to be on my halfback all the time. Right? So we're always going to have to play whatever tactic you're going to play. You shouldn't play our defense. You should play to wing backs immediately because you might run the risk of getting into trouble. So play to the wing backs and try and attack them down the flanks as quickly as you can. That means you want to play with wingers or inverted wingers on attack. So if I were playing a 4-1-4-1, I would so if I'm playing a 4-1-4-1 against a 4-4-2 like that, then I would definitely have like an inverted winger here. Central midfield on attack will do well. Maybe this guy now becomes a DM on support. See, I need to put a lot of pressure. I need this guy to move around, right? So it's either a DM on support, a halfback, or a register. One of those roles that actually moves around. Then I will apply pressure down the flank where they are attacking me. See this guy here? I don't want him to come at us, right? So I'm looking at the attack duty. The right flank is an attack duty. So what I will be looking for is me attacking them down the left flank. So here in this particular case, maybe a CM on attack. I know this is a bit more like cerebral, right? This is just an exercise in how would you combat a specific tactic. Like if you wanted to combat a specific tactic, right, what would I do? Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to do this for sure, but I might do this. Yeah, so something like that. Okay, now, no inverted wingbacks. This will be wingback on support. So I have a lot of pressure going down this flank. So now I'm playing against this guy's tactic. I'm going to put a lot of pressure down this flank because this flank is the one that I want to see go back and defend. I want him to go and help his fullback out. So that means we have to have an attack duty taking this guy on. So it's there has to be an attack duty taking him on. Right? So it's either inside for the attack or a winger on attack or somebody is going to come and take him on. So that's how you counter another tactic. Right? There's one way of doing it. One way of doing it is you attack the tactic where its strengths are, forcing them to go back and help defend or pick up a yellow card. Because if he's forced to help defend, he could pick up a yellow card. The more he picks up a yellow card, he can't go attacking as much anymore. Because one of them is going to get sent off. And then the AI is forced into making a choice. Yeah, we will play it. If Jahid, if you're still around, we can do a network game after this. If you want to, or whenever. Yeah. And another thing as well, guys. Right. We do network games. Essentially, it's for the community, right? So it's not a case. Look, guys, honestly, you should take part in all these networks. We have cup competitions. Simply, I just throw one out. It's something different that I'm doing this year on Discord. Essentially, for all you guys who are Patreons, right? Get a chance to play and try different things out in the game. Because you're only going to find out, like, what you're capable of doing. Then, we can try different things out. It's fun to do because we create all kinds of. Sometimes we create crazy systems to see whether they can work. So I want to save this tactic. I want to save this tactic. I want to try this out. Saving this as not mental factor. This is in my where is my tactics A? Yeah, these are all my this is wait, hold on. This man or woman noise can't be it. Main tactics. Something's wrong with tactics. I thought this is Chico Chicana, Braveheart, 5 Calamity. Okay, these are my I got Wonder Boy here. This is a sequel to another tactic I created. These are all gonna be tested. 4411 network. So take part in the network cup challenges, man. I'll definitely recommend you do it. I mean, all of you. It'd be cool once the little one down. Yeah, once the little one is there, yeah, it'd be fun. I definitely want to do one. So, I think Godspurs is the one I asked about the 441. I should have taken a note down of the question. That's my problem. Sorry, Godfrey. I'll have to try and remember the exact question again. But I remember I do a 4411. And it's similar along the similar lines. So if you play against and this actually we haven't made a 4411, so I'm gonna do that for Discord very soon. Actually, I think the 4411 has got a lot of potential. Maybe the only problem with the 4411 is this: if it comes up against a 4231, it comes up against those players that can attack the middle, right? Those kind of players. So that's the only time it's going to be a problem. So then you'd have to think about this gap, this gap between this place and this place. That's the only thing that could screw this tactic up. But yeah, it's one way of doing it. So do we have any questions? We'll try and do more of these sessions moving forward, and definitely is one way for me to answer questions from you guys, especially on Discord. 4411 versus my 41221. It used to give me nightmares. Yes, that was the thing you mentioned. Correct. The 4411 can give a 4141 nightmares all the time. This tactic, I'm telling you right now, is a damn good tactic. A 4411 is actually a very good tactic. Right. I just haven't made, I have made some tactics, but we're talking here not just about, I like to play with the AI sometimes, right? I also like to play with people. So, but this one could be a lot of fun if you play it against the AI. I mean, it's one way to find out. I'll just holiday mode this tactic and see how they do. And I'll teach you guys how to holiday mode test your tactics very soon, right? We will be doing that very, very soon, where I help you guys out with holiday mode testing. And I'll show you how you can test your tactics out. And then I will also try and maybe, if you're thinking if your tactic is good enough or not good enough, you can just submit it to me here and I'll test your tactics out for you. I think that's one way of doing it. I will put it into the Bone Cruncher, which is I will create a kind of a testing environment for the tactics. I don't really like doing that, but I think I can, in a manner of speaking. And then I will share with you the methodology of how I test. Because how I test the tactic is I test it with one season, one team, right? And then with that same team, it has to play. This is the tough part. This is the tough part of testing the tactic, because I actually have to be physically involved. The first one I don't have to be physically involved. The second one I do is it has to play 6 matches against a top team, 6 matches against a mid-tier team, and 6 matches against a lower-ranked team. Right, home and away. And then I have to tally all of them up into a table. Right. And when I finish tallying them into a table, then I test it. And I can guarantee you nobody else is doing that. Yeah. So it can be quite interesting. I'm messing around with one but struggling. Yeah, it's probably going to be a width. It's probably going to be a width settings for your tactic. I'm looking at this, and I would make a few more changes to this, right? I might make a few more changes. Like, for example, I won't use counter press. Then I wouldn't go defend wide. I'll probably play standard. Get stuck in, probably not. Maybe get stuck in. But then I'll see a lot of red cards. No, not. Play our defense. If I got target man, roaming playmaker. Where's the keeper? Distribution to flanks. No, that I can't do that. Distribute to area specific. Distribute to position. Yeah. Okay. All right. He'll always be passing into the left side. All right. Then you always play the ball here. Higher offside trap, yes. Hit the early cross, no. Low crosses, no. Okay. Run a defense, no. And this is how I do it. Okay, so now with this team, I'll save them. And after this, they're just gonna, while the football is going on, It's gonna holiday mode and it'll test with this team for, let's see how it does. Then after that, once I've seen that happen, that's when I go out and then I start coming back in and I start tweaking the tactic. That's when I start tweaking the tactic, right? So I'm going to create another save. All right, so I'm going to call this the holiday mode test holiday mode. Of course, without the arrow there, because it's not going to work otherwise. Okay, there we go. All right, then after that, you'll run to holiday mode and be off. All right, so do we have any questions before we wrap things up? So let me know how you found this little sessions as well, right? If you guys are enjoying it and found them useful, please let me know. This, and I'll continue doing these, and I hope that I can help you guys out. So once again, if you guys have questions on tactics and the like, please bring them up, and I will try and answer as many of them as I can, and hopefully we can move forward from there. Okay, so you guys, thanks for your support. I'll catch up with you guys very, very soon. You guys take care. I'll